Hey fam, you're welcome back to my channel. So today we're talking about the skeletal analysis of the November 2025 diet Preseen. Yes, it's no news that the Preseen is already out. So we're going to have a class where we're going to actually analyze it. I'm going to show you the suggested unseen solutions and everything. The class is going to hold on Saturday, the 15th of November 2025, and it's just 3,000 naira. If you want to get like registered or you want to participate in that actual main class, you can send me a DM on the screen or register using the link in the Preseen and register using the link in the description rather. All right, so but today we'll just be looking at it skeletally. I'll be giving you some points and just giving you clarity. So today is like skeletal, like I said earlier. All right, so let's start. So this is the first page of the Preseen, and I would talk about this in the Preseen class, but I just want to mention some things here because many students don't even print out this page. Yes, some people actually don't like soft copies. Some people actually print out the Preseen, but then this is the first step to succeeding in any case study examination: the assessment of the case study, because this is what the examiners are looking for. Even if you have like beautiful English or you have the most beautiful handwriting in the world and you don't actually give them what they want, then you would actually not get the marks that you need. So the first thing is what assimilating and using the information provided. So in this case, now what does it mean? They will give you some information in the Preseen, and they also give you some of them as well, some exhibits in the unseen. Many people think that the theoretical information they provide is not useful, but it's actually very, very useful. You actually have to use it, and that is my goal in the actual Preseen class on the 15th of November. I'm going to actually show you how to use the information, what to prepare your mind for, and all of that. So that's using that information is 20% of your score. So if you don't use all those theoretical information, I've had a number of students saying it's useless. Then you're throwing away 20% of your grades. The second one is what structuring problems and solutions. So how you structure your reports, it's very, very important. That also is 20%. Applying judgment is 20%. Applying judgment is something like, let's say for instance, you calculate and you are seeing you have a negative MPV. A negative MPV is saying it's not profitable. So now applying judgment, you're now saying, okay, the judgment you're making now is that company XYZ don't accept this project because my judgment is I hereby say this shall be discharged, shall not be, something like that. Like think about it like a judge. So they are trying to make judgments, trying to make decisions, or trying to rather recommend or advise the company. So that alone is 20%. Drawing conclusions and making recommendations is also 20%. I've seen a lot of students that will not add conclusions and recommendations. They'll have a beautiful body of reports, but they will now lose marks by not adding conclusions and recommendations. Conclusions and recommendations should be part of your executive summary and the requirements, the main body of your report. Don't worry, in the main class, I'm going to show you all of that. I'm preparing a document that I'm going to share with you. So that alone is what is 20%. Demonstrating integrative and multidisciplinary skills is 10%. What are they saying here? Now, skills you have learned from multiple disciplines. Now, I used to tell students that case study is like the father of every other course that you have learned. Over your Ican journey, you were taught corporate reporting, financial reporting, performance management, which is now SBR. I think they have changed the names actually. It's not SBR. You have tax. You have so many things that you have learned over the course of your journey. So now, integrating all those things, bringing all those things together, and using all those skills, that's 10%. Like for instance now, MPV, you have investment appraisal in SFM. I don't know if it's still called SFM, but you have investment appraisal in SFM, you understand? So now, using that knowledge from SFM to what? Apply it to the case study. That is what you are taking a skill from another discipline and you're bringing it here. That's an example. So that's 10% already. And what's appropriate emphasis on appropriate appendices. The appendices that are appropriate, that are useful in this case, doing that is 10% of your grades as well. So this is how they're going to score you. So you have to pay attention to this and ensure that you get it done. Then they also said that of the total marks, 20% will be assigned to the executive summary. So executive summary section is 20 marks actually. 20% is 20 over 100, right? And you're going to be scored over 100, obviously. So it's 20%, and said 10% will be assigned to for your proper consideration. Proper, emphasis on proper, because many students will just be putting ethical issues that are not relevant. You understand? The company does not have anything relating to, let's say, lack of independence, for instance, but you just because you want to write ethical issues, you must put lack of independence. No, try to look at the company and look at what this company has. Is there any ethical issue attached or being involved or something like that with this company? Hey, so proper consideration. They did not just say write as many article issue will give you back. No, it has to align. So you have to be careful with that. You understand? So now they gave some ethical issues. All these things I'm going to explain it in the Preseen. Like I said, this is a skeletal analysis. So these are the ethical issues you have, and then let's just go to the first information. Now, the company we're dealing with in this particular case study is Folak Motors Nigeria Limited, and they gave you a list of exhibits. I used to tell students that you don't have to wait for your unseen before you know the type of report you're preparing. So from this place now, you already know that you are Sylvester Chukwudi and you're working for who? Bagudu, Ademola and Co. That's the company you're working for. And then they gave us information about the economy, about the motor vehicles and sales business, motor repairs, and they gave you information about Folak. And the emphasis is that what they gave us unaudited financial statements. Unaudited financial statement. What does that mean? Well, I will share all this information, more information about it between the Preseen. But I feel like if you have been watching my videos and you have been here, you are a returning subscriber. I feel like you will understand because I've explained a lot in my previous videos. But there's something about this word unaudited, because in the previous years, I can use terms like management accounts. They'll use terms like draft financial statement, extracts, but this time around they were specific. They made you to know that unaudited, though, they are shouting it there. There's a reason why, and I'm going to share that reason with you in the Preseen. Let's just calm down. All right, so from here now, what kind of report are we preparing? Should we let the cat out of the bag? Well, let's just say it. You are working for Bagudu, and you are seeing that you have information for Folak. In fact, they even said the case study is on Folak. But yeah, you are working for Bagudu. That should tell you that that's an external report, because you are not preparing. The report is not centered, or rather, the case study is not centered around your employer. It's centered around another company. So that shows you that it's an external report. All right. And then we have exhibit 1 that contains information about you, your responsibilities, how this applies, how we're going to use this. I'm going to show you, because from this you can actually have an idea of the kind of questions that they'll test. So I'm going to show you more about that in the class on the 15th. So you have all these, your responsibilities, what you should do, and also we'll talk about that in the class. And but I'll just mention just one thing here. This strategic tax and tax planning advice. Strategic tax planning advice. Now, many students were, should we go and start reading all the tax laws? Should we do that? Well, they may do that. They may test it this time around. But if you check May 2024 diet, this was the exact same thing they told them, and they did not ask anything relating to tax. Well, would they do that this time around? Ican is very, very unpredictable. So don't say, because they did not ask me 2024 diet, let me cross my leg. Refresh your memory on any tax laws, rules, whatever that you learned and everything. Tax planning, you understand? Because I remember, well, it's been a while I did Ican, but I remember that there was a part on tax planning that was in the study pack, advanced taxation. You can go and read that topic as well, so you prepare yourself. I don't know if things have changed, because I know the syllabus has changed and all of that, but you can read it up just to see in case they ask anything relating to that. All right, so the others will do that in the Preseen class. Like I said, it's a skeletal video, and I don't want it to be too long so that you get all that I'm saying. Then this exhibit 2 tells us information about the Nigeria economy and how the Nigeria economy is one of the largest in Africa in terms of GDP, and how the motor repairs vehicle is actually very, very important, because it's supporting the country's transportation system. Like it's doing a lot of things by ensuring functionality and longevity. So what I'm just trying to say basically is that the motor repairs business is very, very crucial to the success of the Nigerian economy. So it's not just one sidelined sector. You understand? It's very important. Then they also made us understand that the service sector has experienced growth over the past decade, how it has grown, and how the motor repairs service itself has grown. You understand? And they also said that the reason why for this is because of the vehicle ownership. Like people are now owning more vehicles, and then there's demand for repairs. So you understand? So if people are owning more vehicles, then that shows that what more repairs are going to be needed. So that's why the economy is thriving. So for like now in this case, well, let's just keep reading. Let's calm down. Then they gave us some information about the features of the repairs, motor repairs sector. Then told us about how some are doing informal. You have your roadside mechanic, and you have your sophisticated, should I call it mechanic as well? It's mechanic, no need. Sophisticated mechanical shops, or mechanic shops, and then you have the roadside ones as well. So this is they just that's basically telling us the difference between the two of them. Then they also talked about the essence of skills and training in the sector. You understand that many people actually get it from informal apprenticeship. They'll say go and learn a skill probably when you finish secondary school, or when you finish university. Most times secondary school to go and learn a skill. So most people actually learn it from apprenticeship. You understand? So then they told us about access to infrastructure, supply chains. Don't worry, all this information, how am I going to use it, what is the essence, how does it apply to case study, what are the possible scenarios. I know you have 1,000 questions. All of that's going to be answered in the Preseen class. I'm going to break it down, calm down, show you, okay, this information, this is the possible situation that you have that it will be useful. That information, this is where you can apply it. So just make sure you register for the class and join. All right, so economic impact as well. They told us about the economic impact of the repair sector, how it's important, how it has actually helped in terms of employment, in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of like different aspects that's created jobs for the Nigerian economy, basically. You understand? So that's they even said that it has absorbed thousands of apprentices and skilled workers. You understand? Even people that are even skilled, they are now going into skills and all of that, and it has really done a lot. And they also said that how the complementary services as well, how they actually provide other services like auto electrics, car wash, sale of spare parts, accessory installation. So it's not just about repairs. There are also complementary services they provide. It's not just about repairing maybe your engine or probably anything that is spoiled in your car. No, they also have other side attractions or other complementary services they provide, and these are the ones that they mention. All right, so challenges facing this sector now. These are the challenges they mentioned. There's a lot of it's no news. You understand that infrastructure is a problem. We don't have good roads. We don't have good power supply. You understand? So all these things they actually like force people to rely on generators, and that's increased operational costs. Now all this information is boring. It's not boring. Don't worry, calm down. I will show you how to use it in the class. Just chill. Then they told us about the regulatory concerns and constraints. So there's some regulations that are actually like constraining a lot of things, especially those that are operating in the informal sector. You understand? And even those that decide to go to the formal sector, like when I say informal, I'm talking about, think of it like a roadside mechanic. And when I say formal, think of it like a standard shop that repairs things and all of that. You understand? So now those that are in the informal sector, they are facing so many challenges because regulations are affecting them, and don't do this. They say that they are selling substandard products. Some of them are selling counterfeits. Some of them are selling products that are causing accidents. So regulatory bodies are attacking them. But you see, the ones that are doing good boy and good girl, the former one, what did they not say about that? They said that where regulation even exists, compliance can be expensive and complex. You understand? So there's a lot of complexities when it comes to that area. Then access to finance as well. Like a lot of people don't have access to finance, and this has actually affected so many things and all of that. So They also told us about technical skill gap. You understand that? We said earlier that they said that many of them actually rely on apprenticeship. Like many of them rely on informal training. They'll go and learn a skill after secondary school, or a skill maybe after university or something like that. You understand? So reliance on this has actually what's limited so many things. You understand? Many people don't have like the technical skills that are required, and this has actually affected professionalism in general. You understand? So, and they also told us about the supply chain and spare parts quality, that there are a lot of counterfeits and substandard spare parts materials. You understand? And this has undermined service quality and what vehicle safety. There are many cars that are just spoiling on the road. So many accidents have occurred. Like you heard, oh, the brake failed and it crushed many people. I pray that God will keep protecting us. You understand? And these are the issues of this. The reason for all these issues, rather, is because of the quality. When people are using substandard products, and the funny part is that some of these customers don't even know that these mechanics are actually using substandard products. You actually pay good amounts, but then they'll put substandard products. So that's why the regulatory bodies are actually standing up to take steps to counter these issues that we have, so that people can be safer and the quality of service can improve. You understand? Can improve. You understand? So trade policies affecting the importation of genuine spare parts can also disrupt supply chains. Understand? So in this case, that they're saying that even people that want to even import genuine policies, that there are some policies and genuine spare parts, rather, like people that are actually saying, okay, to we don't want to engage ourselves in substandard product or counterfeit materials. Okay, let us even do genuine spare parts. Now those ones that they are facing some trade policies, there are some policies that are in place, you understand, that are actually affecting them, that are making it difficult for them. So that's another issue again that we have to look at. So let me not let the cat out of the bag. Let's just calm down and take it. I don't want to overload you with information. Let's take it one step at a time. Then they also talked about digitalization, how technology has become part of the sector. People are now going into technological advancement and all of that. And so that's something that we actually have to look at as well. But we'll talk about that in the preceding class. Then I want to say something here. Now, we're going to talk about the opportunities shortly. But then they gave us information about the challenges, and they also told us about the opportunities. Now, many students are saying, oh, SWOT analysis, you must do SWOT analysis. Please, if they do not ask you to do SWOT analysis in the unseen, don't do it. If you check through Pathfinder, you will see that many times examiners have complained that students did SWOT analysis when it was not requested. Some students believe that their case study reports is not complete until they include SWOT. Please, don't do it. I don't know if they'll penalize you for doing it when it was not requested, but let's leave penalties aside. Let's even talk about time. The time that you have, 4 hours, 4 hours, it's plenty. Hey, those that have written the exam before will tell you that 4 hours, before you know, we are done, 4 hours, has it gone like that? It's like 40 minutes. So the time that you have is not sufficient to prepare the reports. These reports, most of the time, in real companies, they can take weeks to bring out these reports. And you have to, what takes people weeks or a month, you are preparing it under 4 hours. It's a lot of work. You understand? So there's no time to be doing unnecessary things. If they don't ask you to do what, don't do it. Focus on the requirements and do what they ask you to do. Now, the opportunities. They talked about vocational training, that, okay, if people actually invest in training, they said earlier that skills, there's this skill gap and all of that. So if people invest in formal education, people partner with private sectors to deliver trainings, the sector will become better. Then access to finance as well. So if there are like micro loans that entrepreneurs can actually use to upgrade their workshop, people will do. Because most of these people, the truth of the matter is that most of the people that engage in counterfeit or smuggled or substandard parts, it's not like they want to do it, but it's not a good thing. That's where an ethical issue will come up, you understand? So if you are saying, okay, let me just say this part. If you are saying that, oh, they're engaging in counterfeit materials or smuggling, why now? There is an option, yes. There's an option to actually do the right thing. But in this case, now they're saying that if people actually have the finance or the capacity to actually go and buy these standard materials, then they can do it. So if you are saying that they're using substandard or counterfeit materials, that's an ethical issue of unethical commercial or business practice. You understand? So they should do that. Then infrastructure upgrades as well. So they are saying that if they improve the roads, they talked about infrastructure before, that everything will become better, and regulatory reforms through. So they should try and ensure that the regulatory process and compliance process are actually what are standard, so that people can actually engage in all these things, and then they can actually do industry regulations, industry associations as well. Then they also mentioned digitalization again, how e-commerce platforms have been used to sell products. You understand that they offer new growth avenues. Then quality assurance as well, that people should ensure quality assurance and local production capacity. That the volume of cars sold by dealership in Nigeria and the demand for high quality service and repair workshop is an indication that the capacity for parts production and certification of technicians exists. So what are they saying here? They're saying here that people are doing a lot of dealership now. It could be authorized dealership, probably dealership with Toyota, Honda, or any other car manufacturing company. So people are actually doing a lot of dealerships. Like, there are a lot of workshops, even some of them that are even quality as well, and people are demanding for it. So if anybody goes into local production of cars, you understand, or local production of parts of cars, you understand, there's a market for it. It's going to thrive. So if you are seeing that they're telling you that, oh, the company wants to dive into production of parts, or wants to dive into probably something relating to parts, spare part, or something like that, yes, there's a market for it, because there's demand, and if there's demand, people will come and buy. Let's move on. Then we have roles of the government and stakeholders. They broke it down, each person what they would do that would help the company to improve, and help the sector rather to improve. So they broke each of these down. We're going to look at it in detail in the class. Then analysis of the motor vehicle sales and distribution business. So in this case now, they're telling us about the motor vehicle sales and distribution, how it works. And the analysis is for 3 years, 2022 to 2025. You understand? So in this case now, then they said, they gave us introduction as well. They said, oh, the Nigerian motor vehicle sales and distribution sector is part of like a critical portion. I think we have mentioned that in the earlier material we read. We mentioned this in the material we read earlier. You understand? So how it's important, how it has like significant impact on the economy, and how it has gone through substantial shifts. So many things have changed since that 2022. You understand? That has reshaped the entire terrain of the whole sector. Then we have the market overview for 3 years, and they said that many of the automobiles that we have here, they're imported, and most of them are new, Some we have new cars, we have used cars, you understand, and we have from Asia, Europe, North America. Those are the 3 major places that they source these materials or these cars from. And then they're saying that although people have been trying, I think we have Innocent Motors, if I'm not mistaken, that is a Nigerian car manufacturer. So we have people that actually have tried to develop these cars locally, but reliance on imports has been a cost disadvantage for them. You understand? So reliance on imports, so a lot of limited capacity and customer demand for affordable vehicles, because these cars, most of them are quite expensive because of the whole costs. I've seen a lot of things said, oh, cost of operating costs are higher and those kind of situations. So that has actually affected the market of local assembly and local production. Then we have size and growth, how they told us about how new and used vehicles the sales have grown, and how there's even more expectation or projection for growth. And they said something here that the market was dominated by used vehicles, constituting more than 80% of sales. So more than the 80% of these 280,000 that we have here, more than 80% is for what? For the sales of what? The sales of used cars. So it's very, very, like, it's used cars. More people are actually going for used cars. And then the new vehicle segment as well actually accounted for just 10 to 15%. And the reason why this is because of scarcity of foreign exchange, no dollar to naira exchange, or scarcity of foreign exchange. We said earlier that These cars are imported from Asia, Europe, and is it North America now? Yes, North America. So most times they have like import duties. All these things have actually costs like the importation of new cars to be limited because there's so many constraints in that area. But used cars on the other hand is easier. Yes, there are constraints as well because some of these cars are actually imported as well. But if, yeah, let's look at it now. If I'm going to spend 1,000 naira, but eventually people are going to come, like demand will be high, and I will gain 1,500 naira. So it's still a win. Fine, I spent a lot of money, but I still gain something. But if I'm going to spend 1,000 naira and it's just 500 naira I make, so that's a loss on my own end. You understand? So fine, even for the used cars, they are still importing it, but the demand for it is high because we said it. We looked at it earlier that people are actually demanding for used cars more. So the demand for it is high, and if the demand for it is high, that means what the company will break even, and even will generate profits. So that's why we say that the sales are actually people are actually tending towards that used cars sector. But for the new cars, on the other hand, most times they may not even break even because of the high costs that they will incur, and people are actually wanting affordable cars. You understand? So people are wanting, but some people are actually buying new cars as well. But the ratio is higher when it comes to what's the demand for new cars. And then he told us about the projections as well, how 2023 actually there were improvements in infrastructure and all of that, just minor improvements, and how in 2024 and 2025 the market's trajectory remains uncertain. So there's a lot of uncertainty around it. But then there's an estimation that the sales will grow. The sales here that the sales is about 280,000 units. You understand? So in this case now, there's projection that the sales will grow to around 300 and what? To around 320 units, 320 units by the end of 2020. So that's a good thing as well. So it's a good thing. Then they said that there are some distribution channels. We have the Tokumbo cars, we have the new cars, we have local assemblies. So we're going to talk about this in detail. I'll be showing you how this might apply in your case study exam in the unseen. So these are the three segments that we have. And then tell us about the distribution structure as well. How some people, either you distribute by being a dealer, but I've talked about this dealer before. You could be a dealer for an international automaker like maybe Toyota or Honda or Kia Motors or something like that. You understand? So you can be a dealer for them. You get license, you get authorization to deal with them, and you can also decide to be an independent dealer. That in this case now, authorized dealership is like you're under Toyota, you're under them. You understand? You have to follow their rules and regulations. You have to comply with their standards. But you can decide that I'm not doing that. I want to be on my own. Just give me your car and I'll do whatever I like. You understand? I'm not under you. I'm not under your regulation. I'll do my regulation the way I like. So that's what's called independent dealers. And so that these ones now, the most times they deal with the used vehicle. So they have dominated the used vehicle market. You understand? So they import those cars and they resell to customers through automats. You must have seen quite a number of automats. In fact, in Abuja and Lagos, there are so many. So you must have seen a car pool, you understand, or an automat shop, you understand, where they sell cars. So these people are the independent dealers. Then we have online platforms as well. I think we have online platforms like GG. It's only GG I know of. I don't know of any other platform as of now. But those kind of platforms, you can go online, check for the car you want, get the contact of the person that maybe the agent or the owner of the car, and then you connect. So we have online platforms so that people can actually browse, negotiate, purchase vehicles. So this has increased convenience. So at the comfort of my house, I can buy a car that will just be delivered to me right there in my house. I don't have to be going under the sun or going all around looking for an automat. So there's a lot of improvements in that sector. Then we have key drivers as well. Like many things that have actually driven growth in the markets. Population. There are a lot of people, and the need for mobility, the need for people to move around has actually people need to be mobile. So there's a market for it. Then infrastructural development as well. You understand? So the infrastructure, we're even saying here that improvement of expressways and urban roads in areas like all this Abuja, Lagos have directly impacted the sales figure. So you understand. So in this case, if you're saying that your company is wanting to, or they have a possibility of expanding to maybe Abuja or Lagos or something like that. Oh yes, do that, because what this has the availability, or let me just use availability of expressways and roads. They have direct impact on the sales figure. And finally, they talked about government regulation, that the NAIDP has regulated so many things. They've introduced incentives for local assemblies, and they're trying to actually improve this. But then there's inconsistency, Nigeria now. Inconsistency in enforcement and policy reversals. Like they will do policy today, they will reverse it tomorrow. So those things have actually hindered the plan. Then access to finance as well, that there are so many micro institutions that actually saying, come and buy cars, and would you pay small something, but high interest rate, sometimes you pay times two of the what of the price of the actual car. So all these things have actually served as barriers to the success. Then we have challenges as well: foreign exchange constraints, high import duties, weak manufacturing bases, smuggling as well. You understand? So all these things have caused issues in the sector. People, like, in terms of changing their, most of these things they're imported. You understand? Most of these costs are imported. Foreign exchange and all of that. So this has actually affected the prices of these vehicles, and excuse me, and the exchange rate is volatile. Today now they can say exchange rate is 1.5. Tomorrow, this morning, they can say 1.5. This afternoon they can say is 1.7. This night they can say it's 1.8. So there's a lot of so many volatility in that aspect. So that's a challenge facing the sector, because most of the things that they are imported. Then we have high import duties and tariffs, and then we have high import duties and tariffs. You understand? So in this case now, to protect domestic assemblers, like, I hope I'm getting the name right, Innocent Motors. I think Innocent Motors, they produce locally. So to protect those kind of people, government now impose high tariffs on fully built imported vehicles. Okay, now if you want to import, no problem. Let us put high tariffs. In fact, sometimes up to 70% on some segments. You understand? So this has actually this is a challenge, because fine, you want us to stop importing cars, but if you want to produce here, the cost is high. If you want to produce here, we don't have the infrastructure. Yes, they say infrastructure has improved, but we all know the truth. You understand? We don't have the capacity yet, and the ones that have the capacity, let us go and bring them in. You said we want to put high taxes. That's why you say that cars are actually quite expensive. Most times they'll say, oh, abroad the cars are not as expensive as here in Nigeria because of all those tariffs. So these are one of the challenges that people actually encounter in the sector. You understand? And the vehicle prices will be high. Then weak manufacturing bases as well. So that, like I just explained, local plants, they face a lot of problems, and smuggling too has become the order of the day. Okay, the people are like, okay, now you think you are smart, Nigerian government, no problem. Put your high tariff. We'll go and smuggle it through neighboring countries. So we'll go and smuggle it as well. So these are some of the issues that are experienced, and poor infrastructure and security. But then there's some opportunities in the market as well. So the digital transformation now, since the COVID happened, like, customers have been relying on online research and virtual showrooms, like the one I said, GG. You understand? So all these platforms as well, so they are reshaping how vehicles are being distributed. So I don't necessarily have to go to a physical store anymore. Right there in my CC room, I can get the vehicle and it will be delivered to me. And then local assembly and value addition. Like, there are a lot of people that are trying to start the local assembly of vehicles, and government policies are actually favoring them. Government is trying to encourage them. You understand? So that, but then they need to scale up. Like, we're not there yet. That's just saying, we're not there yet. For us to be able to compete with all those big companies, we need to improve. And electric and alternative fuel vehicles. So in this way too, that's another thing that people are actually going into, sustainability, trying to protect the environment. Let us not use fossil fuels anymore. Let us use electric cars, solar powered cars. But in Nigeria, we don't have electric charging ports. You understand? If you some of these countries actually use all these electric cars in the filling stations, they have like a place where you can actually charge your car. But I think we don't have that yet in Nigeria, so I don't really see the viability of that happening in Nigeria. You understand? Except if the company now says, "Oh, wants to have a big electric charging station or something like that where people can come and charge their cars." But the question I'll ask is that would they have branches everywhere? Because if I'm living in, let's say I'm living in Lagos, and you're saying your electric charging is in Abuja, will I not have to be traveling all the way to Abuja every time I want to charge my car? It's just like buying fuel. Let's say that they say the only filling station in Nigeria is in Abuja, and every other person is living in other states, so you would have to travel from Port Harcourt from Abuja to be going to buy fuel there. So what's the feasibility of that happening, and how is it feasible? So that's an issue that might be a constraint, you understand, in this case. But then they say that they are trying to do it, like I said here, but infrastructure such as availability of charging stations and reliable electricity have proven to be hurdles, like challenges. That's what they're just trying to say. Then after sales market as well, the growth of Nigerian auto sector is driving demand for spare parts, servicing and maintenance. So people are now saying, okay, oh, we need spare parts, we need services, we need maintenance services. And then there's now opportunity for business that have genuine parts. So we talked earlier about smuggling and counterfeit materials, but those are actually saying, okay, we have genuine spare parts. So there's a market for them. You understand? If they have quality repair services, complementary products, there's a market for them. You understand? So because people are not demanding for it more. All these things I'm just explaining it, but I'll show you more. I'll give you more insights in the class. Then we have the competitive landscape, where they told us about, they have indigenous and foreign based companies. We have indigenous and foreign based companies. You understand? So, and then they made mention of the fact that Folak is one of the indigenous businesses selling both new and used vehicles. So in this case now, we know what Folak is doing. Folak is selling both new and used vehicles. That's what their current business operation now. So that's what they're doing. That's doing sales of cars. And then there's like projection and ways that they can improve the sector. They explained this here. We'll look at that in the class. And the exhibit 4 talked about the repairs, service centers, and spare parts sales. So in this case now, they gave us information about sales and distribution. Folak is into sales and distribution of cars, new and used. Now they're telling us about the repair, spare parts, and service center sector or area. So what is telling us? How does this apply? I will share that with you in the Preseen class. All right, so in this case now, Nigeria is rapidly expanding, and we have talked about that, how people need spare parts, and it gave us an overview of the spare parts market. Then they broke down the motor repairs, the after sales market in Nigeria. They gave us an overview, and they said that the after sales market actually includes variety of services. We have vehicle repairs, we have routine maintenance, we have spare parts, and all of that. So they now broke it down for us. They told us about motor repairs, they told us about service centers, and they told us about the sales of spare parts. So I'm going to look at each of these things. We're going to look at it one by one and look at how it applies to it. So this is just basically talking about the after sales market. And then today, just like the sales of cars, the repairs and sale of spare parts to in sector, they're actually having their challenges as well. They have their problems. So like counterfeit parts, they also have it, you understand? So it's not only counterfeit cars or smuggled cars that is a problem. Even the parts are actually issues, you understand? And even in terms of formal training, so we said earlier that most people rely on informal apprenticeship, you understand? So and infrastructure is also a problem. Import dependency. Most of the parts we actually have to import them from overseas or from another country. So this is also a problem. And regulatory oversight. There's so many standards, but they are weak. And this has encouraged or given room for more counterfeit goods and unqualified service providers to be existing. But then there are some opportunities too. That's kind of similar to what we did earlier. If the people can get good training, if they can have digital platforms where we can verify, where we can actually just check for the cars and all of that, then we have like encouraging local manufacturing as well. and partnerships, collaboration between manufacturers and service centers. All these things can actually improve industry standards and the future overlooked too. And they said that the motor repair service center and spare part sector, sales sector in Nigeria is poised with growth driven by increased vehicle ownership. So in this case, and I say that there's because people are actually having more cars, and then urbanization is improving. Like the rural areas are being modernized. So because of this now, most people are going to demand for cars, and most people are going to have cars or own cars. And if people own cars, they will definitely at some point want to repair, at some point want to maintain the car, or at some point want to get spare parts. So in this case now, because of this, there's a market. There is a market. So if they want to go into it, it's good because it's going to help them. So however, realizing the potential is actually a problem, you understand, because of the counterfeit part. That is a very big problem. They keep mentioning it, counterfeit parts, skills, enforcement, all these things. They keep mentioning it because it's a very, very big problem. And they said new entrants into the motor repairs, service center, and spare part sales could potentially be companies that buy and sell new vehicles, such as for like now. Is this telling us something? Definitely, it's telling us something. It's telling us something very, very important, and we'll look at it in the class as well. Then we have information about the financial statement, the unaudited summarized financial statement. And if you calculate this thing, you see that there's some errors there. Many students were like, oh, Ican, would they release another Preseen since they made errors? They might not release another Preseen. It's actually telling us something, actually. So first of all, I'll just mention only one. First of all, the accounts are unaudited. Of course, if they're unaudited, that means they haven't been verified by a professional or independent party. So it's been error or prone to errors is not far-fetched. You understand? It's possible that it can be prone to errors. So some of these things we'll talk about it. I'll be showing you how it applies, what are the things that you're going to see, and what is the essence of the error, and how the error can apply to the unseen requirements. So we have the income statements, we have the statement of financial position, and that was the end of the Preseen. So in this case now, the financial statement is not correct. So that's telling us that there may be something that they may tell us to do in the unseen. So I'm going to share all these things in the unseen class with you. I just want for us to just discuss the material and have like a skeletal analysis. So in the class, I'll shed more light on those areas. I would show you how those things work, because I believe that everybody, for you to have reached the professional stage of Ican, you know how to read and write. That's just the basic thing. So I'm not here to come and read back the material to you. No. Okay, we have read it. What do we now do with it? So the essence of the class on Saturday is not to come and read the material again to you, because you can do that in your own free time. The essence of the class on Saturday is to show you how those points can be used in your report and how those points can relate to the unseen. I used to tell people a lot that if you properly sit down and analyze your Preseen very well, you will not be 100% surprised in the unseen when you get to the exam hall. You have insights on what they want to ask or what they want to test. You understand? Because I can always leave signposts. They will always give you hints of what they want to ask or test. They are not wicked. You understand? That's the essence of the Preseen, for you to research, for you to get familiar with the industry, and for you to prepare yourself for what to expect. You understand? So that's the essence of the Preseen. So please. So you can see here that it said that what the material is circulated prior to the examination date for you to enable you to familiarize yourself with the case scenario, so that you can undertake any research and analysis you may deem fit. So they're giving you so that you can prepare yourself. Do you understand? So have you been preparing yourself, my ACA? Hope it's not like you are sitting down waiting for Preseen class. Start. Don't be lazy. Start. I know that it's not easy. Many people have other courses they're doing. Many people have other activities they're engaged in. But by this time next week, you are almost done. You understand? So just start familiarizing yourself. Don't wait for Preseen classes alone. You understand? So start familiarizing yourself. Start researching on the industry. Start reading the Preseen. Start trying to understand it. Get familiar with the financial statement, so that when the class comes, that one will just be an addition, a plus. In fact, you'll be flowing before the Preseen analyst even finish the sentence, like, oh yeah, I knew that that was what she was going to say. You understand? Not that you're not like, hey, exam is tomorrow. How do I do? No, don't do that. Familiarize yourself with it, and we'll meet on the class. So if you want to register for the class or take part in the class, you can what? Contact me on the number on your screen right now, or go to the description of this video and click the registration link. If you're having any issue with the registration link, you can contact me using the number of the screen 081 700 20413. WhatsApp alone. It only goes on WhatsApp, not call. WhatsApp. And I'll be there to attend to you. Alright, so I'll see you on the class on the 15th, and I truly wish you the best. I'm praying for you and I believe in you. Alright, have a good week. Bye. To register for the class, you can actually send me a DM on 081 700 2413, a WhatsApp message. You can send me a WhatsApp message. The class is 3,000 naira only, and the class will hold on the 15th of November 2025. Full recordings and documents will be made available to registered students, and it will be added to a platform where you can ask questions, brainstorm with other students, and I'll be there to attend to you. Thank you for choosing Synopsis of Ican Academy. I wish you all the best and I wish you success. I cannot wait to hear your success story. Have a good day.